Now, I lived many years in tropical Africa, and one day out in the bush back in the 1960s I got blood poisoning. Now, had that happened just 20 years earlier, that could have killed me. But I just went along to the local field hospital, one big jab of penicillin in the backside. Didn't like that very much, but I was fixed. It was the archetypal magic bullet. And today we can cure just about everything that nature throws at us. So what is left? Well, what is left is not what nature does to us, but what we do to ourselves. They are the diseases of self-infliction. They are diseases of lifestyle. Diseases like cancers, heart disease, osteoporosis, diabetes, obesity, even Alzheimer's, and many, many more. And they're due to the mismatch between the lifestyle designed for us by our evolutionary past and the way we live today. These were diseases that were virtually unknown in prehistoric times. So what is this ideal lifestyle? It's the one that makes us fit for life in our ancestral homeland. And where is our ancestral homeland? Well, until about 20 years ago, there was still very much a big debate about it. But the clinching argument came from a most unexpected source, the study of genetics. We now know, by studying the DNA of peoples all around the world, that everybody on this planet is descended from a small group of people who lived just 60,000 years ago. No more than 2,000 to 2,500 generations. 60,000 years ago. And the most important thing to understand is they were living in the African savannas, and that we have the same bodies, the same biochemistry, the same metabolism, the same mentalities as for life back then. So what was our ancestral homeland like? So let us conjure up some mood scenes. Here is a typical picture of an African savanna. The rolling grasslands, the animals peacefully grazing, the occasional tree. Now, the remarkable thing is that when we show pictures like this to peoples all around the world, from Eskimos to Japanese to Australian Aboriginals, they'll pick this kind of scene as being the most reassuring compared to other kinds of panoramas like cityscapes or seascapes. And even more remarkable is that when people have the chance to mould a landscape to suit their desires, which they find the most pleasant, they come up with the same thing. Here we have a picture of an English country park, of which many were constructed, designed, built over the last 2 or 3 centuries. And what do you know? They have animals peacefully grazing, the rolling grasslands, and the trees. Why might this speak to us? Of course, the psychologists have started to speculate about this, still cutting-edge studies. But nevertheless, we can start to see why this might be, why this speaks to our deepest human psyche. Where you have animals peacefully grazing, that means there aren't any predators around. And they're also food for human beings. Where you have occasional trees, that's somewhere there are escape routes. You can shin up a tree if trouble occurs. And finally, where you have the wide open spaces, this gives you the sense of security because you can see if any nasty predators are likely to be coming at a great distance. We'll come back to this question when we talk about stress, because being in an environment which is pleasing and reassuring speaks to our deepest needs, and the way we live today mostly cuts across this deep need. Right, now let's go back to our savanna homeland and look at some people who still live that way. Here we have some sand bushwomen. They're cheerily gathering berries and they've got babies on their backs. They would carry their children up to about 3 or 4 years old, and indeed until the next baby came along. They would carry them on their backs. And here we have a sand Bushman. He is setting a trap. And you know, we used to feel sorry for these guys back then. We wanted to feed them up on condensed milk and spam. We couldn't understand how it was that they had perfect teeth, good health, great eyesight, without the benefit of doctors, dentists and all the paraphernalia of medical support. And it was only later that we came to realise that we were looking down the wrong end of the telescope. That they were the ones living lives the way nature intended, in a way that their bodies recognise, and that we are the ones leading artificial lives, and this artificial life is making us sick. Now you may ask, well, what is their health like? Well, that is the subject of the next video.